All right, Pat has promised some explosive facts or data to start the podcast here. So, what do you got for us?
Would you agree that the Atlanta Braves are probably the best team in baseball? Would you agree with that right now?
I wouldn't say they are. I wouldn't fight you hard on that. No.
Yeah, Tampa. I mean, Tampa's a miracle team, but they're not. The nucleus isn't there. And
the Braves are an intentionally good team.
Yes, right. That's right. Intentionally good team. Do you know who's in their bullpen for them? Now, he didn't pitch last night, but do you know who's in their bullpen?
Is it a former Twin?
Has been pitching in some meaningful games. Michael Tonkin.
What?
Oh, Michael Tonkin.
Michael Tonkin.
What?
He's been on a around the world journey. He was either in Korea or Japan. I think he was in Korea or something. He's been all over. He made their club in spring training. He's pitched some good innings for him. The wait for the Tonk is finally over.
Wow. So he's been out of the major leagues for 6 years.
6 years, yes. I assumed he was coaching basketball for a junior high team someplace or something. He was, he always was, as you know, he was always suspicious as to why you were asking him a question, wasn't he? Did you ever cover him?
I did. He's 6 foot. I just remember him because he's 6'7", and I'm 5'8" with high Nikes on.
You know, he would show up in spring training 4 years. You know, way back to the early 2010s. But he always wondered why you were asking him if he did something. He always was suspicious you were trying to get to some angle that proved the basic was, why in the hell are you here? But he was one of those amazing guys that would get 2 strikes on somebody and he'd somehow figure out how to get to 3 and 2 and ended up having to either throw a cookie or walk the guy or something. But yeah, the Tonk is in their bullpen.
Wow.
Wasn't there a weird connection? Wasn't he like Jason Kubal's brother-in-law, on a complete random coincidence?
Yeah, was it Kubel? Yeah, I think he was married to Kubel's sister. I think it was Kubel. Yeah, he was related to. You're right. I think it was Kubel.
Yes, he was one of many promising young arms in that kind of like early target field period that just never I remember him. There was like Alex Burnett, all these guys that came up, and you thought, oh, these are going to be.
Wow. He was a little old lady in the press box too, whispering. Stuff like that. I remember the day that they shocked us at the end of spring training when they released when they sent One Hope Park back to the minors after he had that fantastic spring. And I remember, and we were all trying to figure out this was the first year of Falvey and Levine, right? The first year because everybody, what's this guy got to do? He had a home run every 4 at bats down here. And that's when they started with 12 pitchers. But I remember Tonkin being in the corner going, I like talking to you.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. So, but he's in the big leagues, baby.
That's great, man. And he's, if we were going to do a pie chart of blame off last night's loss, I know that Emilio Pagan probably doesn't rank number 1 for you because the game was already, they were down, but man, I would swap Pagan for Michael Tonkin right now. If you just said right now, rest of the season, Pagan or Tonkin, who do you want in your bullpen? I would probably take Tonkin.
As I said the other day or wrote or something, Emilio Pagan doesn't give up any runs unless they matter. Unless it, he comes in when it's 6-1. He breezes. He gets them out, man. It's easy. He'll get you 6 outs when it doesn't matter. But if you're really, now I don't think it mattered last night. They weren't probably going to score anyway, and they didn't score. But he made sure they didn't. And now I would give him credit for at least this time, and was was the best player in baseball to hit a 450-foot home run off him. Acuna.
Yeah. Well, did you see my tweets last night about? I'll just give it to the audience here too. So Emilio Pagan this season and I don't know exactly like where the line is drawn here, but in high leverage situations has a 1,409 OPS against. So in the game is on the line situations, he basically turns everyone into peak steroid Barry Bonds. In low and medium leverage situations, he has a 535 OPS against.
Yes, which is like have a parade for him, right?
Yeah.
It is amazing how he can groove that. He can groove that little cutter. I think that was another cutter last night, right? That the guy hit 500 miles. But I want to know, and nobody did. I didn't see anything. Why did Reusse not play?
I think I saw your theory on Twitter, and
are we mad at him?
Conspiracy Pat might be onto something.
Yeah, did he call out Popkins? Why is he not playing?
What did you make of that comment? Because we talked about this yesterday on our State of the Twins podcast, but he basically said, and I don't think he meant anything. I don't think he meant to throw Pop under the bus, but he was Pop and I told Pop, I'm gonna try and make contact today.
Yes, right. Instead of, I think he was the first one to state what we all figure is their philosophy, which is from the same one people had 5 years ago. Wait for a pitch you can drive. Don't swing at a pitch you can drive. And that explains why they are on a world record pace for strikeouts. And congratulations, fellas. You kept it going last night. You're going to get to that magic more than 10 per game mark when this season ends. Nobody ever has struck out 1,600 times, no team, but these guys, I think they're on pace for 1,700. So it's the, I mentioned this yesterday, not to you guys on this, obviously I wasn't on, but the Nesson guys, Euclid and Dave O'Brien, were on over the weekend saying their problem is they're not made for today's game. The Twins, they're not made for today's game. They don't do any of the things that teams are now doing to adjust to the fact that we're not playing it with a golf ball anymore, and we have these amazing bullpens that come in and strike everybody out, and they're still sitting there trying to hit home runs.
So we've gone from saying goodbye to Terry Ryan and the old front office because we were too far behind the times. Yeah. To hiring Falvey and Levine and 1,000 new random people behind the scenes to get back ahead of the curve, and now we're back behind the times.
Because we're still playing home run ball. We're still, AJ did a whole thing on. Did you happen to hear AJ on the broadcast?
No, Jeb was raving about it, but I did not hear what he said.
Okay, he won't. He's just like AJ was. Anytime he won't shut up, but and sometimes it's silly, but it's entertaining. But he was saying, they can't score a run if they don't hit a home run. And he was great on Joey Gallo. And he pointed out that Joey Gallo cannot touch a breaking ball, So, and they were trying to decide. They were talking about what do you think he'll do here? He's down 2-1 in the count or something. The pitcher, and he said, "You throw him 2 breaking balls," which he did, and Joey missed them all by a foot.
Yeah.
So I kind of always thought his problem was he couldn't hit this because he'd chase it, a high fastball, but he also now cannot hit an off-speed pitch if you've been watching him lately. So. Anyway.
Well, yeah, and like everything you said, the baseball is no longer a ping pong ball like it was a few years ago. You no longer have the ability to load up your third baseman and your shortstop on the right side of second base. Yeah, so there's more area. Just putting the ball in play now, not trying to hit a home run, but just putting the ball in play somewhere is more valuable than it's been in 10 years, I feel like. And they're still stuck trying to play the launch angle, drive the ball out of the ballpark game.
They're also stuck with the Fox box that I'm not going to swing at that pitch because it's a foot off the plate, And
after the game, I'm gonna go look closely and make sure that I was right for taking that strike 3.
Far off the plate, an inch and a half, and I'm gonna go look at it and say, "See, I didn't deserve to strike out." Well, you did for 100 years before the Fox box was invented. Too close to take is not part of their philosophy. I would like to see one of them, Rocco or somebody, when some guy takes strike 3 with the bases loaded on a pitch that's an inch off the plate, do a little screaming at him. We need the guy to say, "Get your head out of your bleep and let's go here." I don't think shotgun is the guy to do it.
That's what's hilarious. Like, that's another good point. Managers are much more likely to go out and light the human being umpire up for missing a pitch a half inch off the corner that was traveling 98 miles an hour with movement than to go to the hitter and say, hey, these are still humans back here. They're not going to be perfect compared to the Fox box. So you got to be protecting with 2 strikes.
And I see they're telling us that they're not going to do the computerized strike zone next year. It looks like they're not going to leap into that. You know what they're going to do, which I hate, the challenges.
Yeah,
because the fans have reacted to that in the minor leagues, so they're gonna we're gonna get the fans involved here, and they're really be on the edge of their seats as they wait to see whether it's a strike or a ball to come up on the screen. That's what they're gonna do. Which
are we gonna have a red flag like Mike Tice hiding a red flag in your sock? Oh, that pitch looked like it crossed over the black. Throw the red flag.
Yeah, I started calling him because Ticey would throw the flag if he didn't like the way a play turned out, not because they had a chance.
My defender got burned on a 30-yard touchdown. Throw the flag.
I started calling him Flaggy the coach, and in print, and he come up to, oh, that's real funny, Flaggy the coach. Nice thing about Ticey, these guys don't know anything. Could care less what's being written about him. I think Kevin O'Connell's not sitting there going through stories to see, but Ticey knew everything. Ticey knew everything anybody'd written about him or anything. Yeah. I miss Ticey though. Man alive, was he great.
Well, we're doing this isn't exactly the high flying news period of the NFL offseason here. So for Purple Daily this week, we're doing these we do the pie chart of blame, pie chart of praise. We're doing historical pie charts for old Vikings games. And so today we're doing the 2004 Lambeau Field playoff win, where the Vikings backpedaled into the playoffs.
Yes.
Randy Moss walked off the field in Washington in Week 17, and they wind up going to Green Bay for this playoff game. And the pregame was really interesting. I was watching back the pregame on Fox for this game. So Mike Tice, the week between Week 17 and the Lambeau Field playoff game, had these guys in full pads and hitting each other in practice that week.
Wow. Yes. Well, I remember waiting for Ticey after that game. And you knew that, we were the Washington game. We were ready to go, man, because Randy walked off the field and everybody was and you knew Tice was PO'd at everything. But he was in there waiting for the other game to end to see if they back into the playoffs, and they did, right? The other game was like running 20 minutes behind them or something. So they backed into the playoffs. Oh, you guys are all say we're backing into the playoffs. Of course, we badmouthed them all week, and then they went down and won at Lambeau. So it was Ticey's greatest moment, I would say, wouldn't you?
I think that was his only playoff win, right? So,
oh God, yes.
It had to, and they started the previous year. They started 6-0 and missed the playoffs, and then that year they started 5-1, but finished 8-8 at the end, and then they just destroyed the Packers.
Year that they were terrible, and they hadn't won a game, and then he had Dante
the sneak
run in the 2-pointer with to win the game in New Orleans, and they were.
I think that was like 2002. I think that was between the years.
That was his first year then. Yeah, they were bad that year. But he had the winning streak too, the one year, right? At his last season, didn't they? They were terrible, and then they won 5 in a row or something.
Yeah, nobody could get a Vikings team hot for 2 months like Mike Tice. But then look the exact opposite for the other 2 months.
Yeah, well, one problem he had is he had a team meeting and said, "You guys getting those Super Bowl tickets sold or not? Come on." 2005. That was Love Boat, right? Last year was Love Boat, wasn't it?
How about this? We have on Purple Daily, we have a lot of listeners and YouTube viewers that really just discovered us in the last 6 to 12 months, and a lot of fans in their early 20s who just kind of stumbled into this daily Viking show. And we had an emailer reach out last Friday and said, "Hey, I heard you guys reference this Love Boat from time to time. What is the Love Boat? Can you explain?" So that was Judd's finest moment of the year, explaining to like a 21-year-old fan what Love Boat was.
That was the worst moment in local journalism led by Gene Harrington. I'll never forget that. That they've been off all week, right? And now Dante's got to do his Wednesday thing, right? His Wednesday, didn't they have the quarterback come out on Wednesday?
Yep.
And they're getting ready to play Chicago, I think. And Gene's question is, do you want to talk about the boat or do you want to talk about the Bears game coming up? And we all going, Gene! And Dante says, I want to talk about the Bears. I'm not sure what the great thing was, but we're all going, Jesus, Gene, what the bleep are you doing? We're all screaming. We've been waiting for Dante all week to have, since the Love Boat story popped, to have to talk about it. Gene offers him the greatest out ever. You want to talk about the boat or you want to talk about the Bears?
Gene, so it's funny, like Gene Harrington, he used to lead off every press conference, right?
Yes.
I don't know how that came to be, but he just.
It was kind of like the Audra of that period. Yeah, Gene would lead off with the softball every year. He'd throw a couple underhanded in there, and then if you had any tough questions, you had to try to ask him later.
Yeah,
Gene was great though. Gene was the first producer for Suture and Reusse.
Oh, he
Sunday nights.
from Monday.
It was Sunday nights when we first started on Sunday nights for 13 months before we got fired. Gene was our producer. Yeah, he taught us how to turn on the microphones and stuff like.
I don't know if you ever fully mastered that.
No, I was going to say, neither of us ever became a quality microphone turner.
I remember diving across the table a couple times as you started to open your mouth during a commercial break. No.
We have a real problem down there with when Such ends up his Garage Logic thing, and then we're going to do Monday's Sports Talk. They have the special, the people who are signed up who can stay and watch.
Yes, the town council membership. Yep, all access.
Once in a while, I've been known to come in and maybe drop a F-bomb or two about something, and then they go,
a little too much access. A little too much.
That's right. Yes. Town council. So anyway.
Just living up to your Unchained brand, I guess. Yeah.
The Tonk, though. The Tonk is back. It's unbelievable. Amazing.
The Tonk. That's a great what a pull there. I know you have to get going here, so we'll let you go. But hopefully the Tonk. He didn't pitch last night, but hopefully he gets into a revenge game here before the week is over.
It wasn't a big enough situation for the Tonk.
It wasn't high leverage.
No, it wasn't high leverage. But way to go, Emilio. You didn't disappoint us. God, is that guy a good player though? He's the best position player in baseball. No doubt about it.
He is, yeah.
All right,
that was gonna happen. All right, Pat. We'll talk to you later. There he is, Reusse Unchained, presented by the way by our friends at Power Lodge and Miller Marine. So if you're looking to shake off a big home run, if you're a reliever, maybe when you get home you can hop on one of these Benningtons. So yeah, you can go to any of the 3 Power Lodge locations in Brainerd, Onamia, and Ramsey. Miller Marine in St. Cloud, the biggest Bennington dealer in the country, and get into. Or there's all kinds of other pontoons as well. 300 pontoons in stock, whatever you need. There's also tri-tunes available. That's next level. The tri-tune.
I was going to say, you can get low leverage, high leverage situations. It all ends up working out at the Power Lodge. So it doesn't matter which one it is.
No. Medium leverage, sort of like between low and medium leverage. It's all there at powerlodge.com and millermarine.com.